Okay, welcome back everyone. We're gonna try to pick up where we left off earlier. Um, where we stopped was right after we had sealed another rift, right before the forward camp. I had just leveled up, and we are going to talk about spell options and what leveling up is, and then move into a cutscene with Liliana and the Chancellor. Um, First episode is up on YouTube if anybody wants to go take a look at it. It is under the handle of Callisto Rage, just like this channel. Um, Nothing fancy, but it's there. So cool. Thanks for being part of it. All right, so let's get started back into Dragon Age Inquisition lore walkthrough episode 2. I guess this is episode 2. It's the second one, right? So it makes it 2? Whatever. Okay. Music coming on. So, Okay, so we gain a level. In each level we gain, we get points to spend. Good job, us. I each each of these is the basic mage talents that we could pick from to get started with. Um, you don't have to go all the way down a tree. Like once you pick one, you're not committed to that tree forever. Or like that's the only tree that you can pick from. You could take some from lightning, you could take some from fire, a little bit of lightning, a little bit of fire. Um, it usually, well, and this tells you all about it too. I'm not gonna read it, but um, you can look at each one, see what each one does, what the little things off to the side do, which ones you might want to pick and go for. I'm gonna start with barrier mostly because I don't always remember to use it, but Solus always remembers to use his, and I think so does Dorian whenever we pick up Dorian. So I'm not that worried about it. But I do like the Peaceful Aura, and I also like Guardian Spirit. So this is usually where I start, and I've already got a couple damaging spells, so I don't really need to jump into damaging stuff. As the protagonist, I guess. I level up first. I always level up before the rest of them do. But within probably the next short little bit here, the rest of my team will also level up, and I can then go through and either auto level them, which is usually what I do because I'm lazy, or pick out their talents for them as well. And as you can see, Solus is the same as mine because he's a mage. Varric is a rogue, and normally he would have, for a rogue, he would have a bow and arrow here, but because it's Varric and he's got Bianca, he has a crossbow symbol. But you can see each of these are different per class type. So when we reach level 10, we have the opportunity to do, I think it's level 10, we have an opportunity to do a quest line that will allow us to unlock other um, talent schools or talent trees to um, man, I am tired. To continue improving our spell or our skills in different areas. So they're kind of cool. I like the mage ones a lot. I'm ambivalent about the rogue ones, even though the talent trees are cool. Um, but anyways, so we have leveled up. Let's move forward into the forward camp and see what awaits us here. So that's Chancellor Roderick, and that's Liliana, and he's trying to bully his way into, doing what he thinks is right. Oh, Cassandra, would you like a morning star? Of course you would. The other thing going through the game, I can update or upgrade everybody's armor and weapons except for Eric's crossbow because it's Bianca. Can't get rid of Bianca. So, let's do that real quick.
Here they come.
You made it. Chancellor Roderick, this is...
I know who she is. As Grand Chancellor of the Chantry, I hereby order you to take this criminal to Valroyo to face execution.
Order me? You are a glorified clerk, a bureaucrat.
And you are a thug, but a thug who supposedly serves the Chantry.
We serve the most holy, Chancellor. As you well know.
Justinia is dead! We must elect a replacement and obey her orders on the matter.
Like, I don't know, he's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing. And, there's a whole lot of chaos and grief, and everybody's tempers are a little high, but... So here's where some of our choices get started. Where is my mouse? Over here. Alright, well, I guess I don't really need it, but...
Isn't closing the breach the more pressing issue?
You brought this on us in the first place! Call a retreat, Seeker. Our position here is hopeless.
We can stop this before it's too late.
How? You won't survive long enough to reach the temple, even with all your soldiers.
We must get to the temple. It's the quickest route.
But not the safest. Our forces can charge as a distraction while we go through the mountains.
We lost contact with an entire squad on that path. It's too risky.
Listen to me. Abandon this now, before more lives are lost.
How do you think we should proceed?
So, this is pretty much one of my favorite things about the Dragon Age games, the Dragon Age world, even playing the tabletop RPG. There are no good choices. Basically, what they're saying right here, that my two options are, I can take the mountain path, and a bunch of soldiers are going to die, or I can charge with the soldiers and let the scouts in the mountain pass die. So, my options are, somebody's going to die, or somebody's going to die. Who do I want to die? I generally take the mountain path, because soldiers, well, and this sounds a little heartless, but whatever, soldiers are going to die anyways. Like, no matter what. If we charge with the soldiers, there's going to be soldiers that die. If we take the mountain path, there's going to be soldiers that die. They know that's what they're supposed to be doing. Like, they're going to be leading a sustained assault against the front of the temple. So they're going to die. And this is what they're expecting, right? At least maybe not to die, but like, they're going to be fighting. They know that they're walking into a fight. The scouts, on the other hand, were expecting to go scout in the mountains and hopefully get out of there. They knew that there is potential that they were going to die, but they didn't know that they're going to die. And at this point, we're basically saying there's no, like, we're just abandoning them to their fate at this point. Rather than taking the mountain path and hoping that maybe they're still alive, or at the very least we can find out what happened to them. Because if we lost a contact with an entire squad, um, that's not good. Like, yeah, I understand there's a lot of shit going on, and maybe this isn't the highest priority right now, but we probably should still figure out what the fuck happened to them, because if we don't, maybe it's gonna come and bite us in the ass. Anyways, it's one of the reasons I also like going in through the mountain pass because it's pretty. So, um, but far be it from me to ever make not make a sarcastic comment while I have the option.
Now you're asking me what I think.
You have the mark?
And you are the one we must keep alive. Since we cannot agree on our own.
Which also helps to point out why they were asking me, who was just a prisoner, recently. So, anyways, so I'm going to take the mountain path like I usually do. I have done it before where I will charge with the soldiers. There's not a whole lot of benefit or loss with doing it. It doesn't really take that much less time to charge with the soldiers. And again, I prefer using the mountain path. I like the potential of being able to save people if I can, just in general. And as Dalish, like, I'm more used to doing sneaky, less risky things, I guess.
Use the mountain path. Work together. You all know what's at stake.
Liliana, bring everyone left in the valley. Everyone.
On your head be the consequences, Seeker.
Apparently it's a little windy up here. It's fucking windy.
The tunnel should be just ahead. The path to the temple lies just beyond it.
What manner of tunnel is this? A mine?
Part of an old mining complex. These mountains are full of such paths.
And your missing soldiers are in there somewhere?
Along with whatever has detained them.
We shall see soon enough.
So if you look down here, that's where we were just at. Right here. Over here to the left is the Temple of Sacred Ashes, or rather what remains of it. You see a little bit of some of the old statues there. And then that, I think, is close to where we started originally? I just love the distance and love looking at the mountains just as a personal thing. Mountains are my favorite thing in the world, and the frostbacks are pretty fucking glorious. Okay, well, enough daydream. let's get up through this mountain pass, shall we? I'm gonna take a moment again to just talk about how much I love the lighting in this game. Well, all games, but this game because we're playing it right now. Um, Something I've talked about before, and I'm just gonna repeat it every time because it's true still. One, I'm salty that there's nothing over here. Like, there's no hidden chest or loot or anything. Maybe there is in harder difficulties. I don't know. I fucking love this ice. Like, I love it. It is just so cool looking. Just literally just frozen water, but I just think it looks really cool. I love the reflection. I love the detail in that. Um, the rocks frozen into it. I don't know. I like it. So, and this is my stream, so you get to deal with it. But again, the lighting, like you see the lighting coming in the door here and the clouds, candle lights. That's just so cool. So cool. One of the other cool things about having barrier, yes, I know, it's an area of effect attack, I know, thank you, um, is that you could use it to do things like this, because it glows, it lights up, like, to show you where. It's just a handy little, I'm just gonna look at the ceiling and look at the walls and see what's in here, because otherwise it's just black. But the details there. So. And then you just have this random room full of fucking books because, of course, why isn't there just a library of somebody's study in the mountain mining pass? Why not? I genuinely don't know if there's actually lightning in here, if it's just like an effect of the lighting plus cloud stuff. It's kind of cool, but whatever.
cannot be all of them.
So the others could be holed up ahead.
Our priority must be the breach. Unless we seal it soon, no one is safe.
I'm leaving that to our elven friend here.
He means me. Be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Needed to get another drink, and my partner came back upstairs, so I was doing a check-in. Now, let's go and find out what happened to the rest of these missing scouts. Eh? Because, as Cassandra said, that can't be all of them. Should have saved back at the damn thing.
Lady Cassandra! Lieutenant, you're alive!
Just barely.
Sealed, as before. You are becoming quite proficient at this.
Let's hope it works on the big one.
Thank the Maker you finally arrived, Lady Cassandra. I don't think we could have held out much longer.
Thank our prisoner, Lieutenant. She insisted we come this way.
The prisoner? Then you...
And this is why I went this way. I mean, I knew this from playing, but even the very first time that I did this, I'm like, well, there's a chance to save them, then we should probably go that way and find out what happened to them at the very least. And we come through here, and we were able to save some of them. And now they're going to be able to go and continue living and serving me and being great assets to the future Inquisition that has not formed yet.
It was worth saving you, if we could.
Then you have my sincere gratitude.
The way into the valley behind us is clear for the moment. Go, while you still can.
At once. Quickly, let's move!
The path ahead appears to be clear of demons as well.
Let's hurry before that changes. Down the ladder. That's the way to the temple.
Okay, so we're about to go into what remains of the Temple of Sacred Ashes. The Temple of Sacred Ashes was where Andraste's ashes were laid to rest, or once they were saved from. So, as the Chantry teaches, that Andraste was burned at the pyre by Tevinter after being betrayed by her husband Mathrath. And after the burning, one of her followers, whose name escapes me, scooped up her ashes into an urn and brought them and hid them. And then for a really long time, up until Origins actually, I think, the temple was considered lost. Like, nobody knew where they were, where the temple was. Nobody knew if the ashes were even real, or if it was just a myth. And then you find out in Origins that they are real, and this was where they were at. So basically like you rediscover the Temple of Sacred Ashes and the nearby little town of Haven, which in Origins was actually home to a dragon cult, because they believed that Andraste had returned to them in the form of a dragon, a high dragon that happened to live uh, in the mountains in the Frostbacks around here. So that, of course, was wrong. It was just a dragon. We pretty sure we killed her. But they were very secretive, very protective of their village. They had male priests instead of female priests. Um, Members of the Chantry, like Chancellor Roderick, aren't really considered priests or able to hold high level positions. Um, they're kind of just like your everyday clergy. The priesthood, the Chantry, is considered to be matriarchal, based on Andraste being Andraste and a woman and Bride of the Maker and all that. Um, but the citizens of Haven in Origins followed a male-led chantry, which was very unusual at the time. But they were also extremely isolated, and they were like, "Yeah, this is just how we do it." And also, we're a dragon cult, but we're not going to tell you. Anyways, lots of people died. Um, the Haven in Inquisition, well, obviously the Temple of Sacred Ashes looks drastically different than it did in Origins, because in Origins it wasn't blown up. In Origins also it had just been rediscovered, and so in after that, they came and excavated a great deal of it, and so it went from being like this small little church to like, oh shit, there's like a whole bunch of underground passages and temple stuff, and it was just monstrous. So they excavated a bunch of it, and then that all got blown up here. Um, Haven itself also looks different, which we'll see shortly. Um, I guess not drastically different, but uh, different enough, in my opinion. But I guess it's not really that important. Haven has now become. It went from being like this isolated little village of dragon cult worshippers and super backward, isolated people to like a tourist town, I guess you could say, from where people were coming to do their pilgrimage, to visit the Temple of Sacred Ashes, all of the devout Andrastians. And so it's been spruced up a little bit. Um, and it's basically built for that purpose, as not for being a fortress, but for being a pilgrimage site. So I'm going to turn the audio back up a little bit. I turned it down because I'm talking and it was loud, so I figured it was loud for you guys too. I'm going to turn it back up a little bit, and then we'll wander down here and look at all of the blown upness of everything.
So, holes in the Fade don't just accidentally happen, right?
If enough magic is brought to bear, it is possible.
But there are easier ways to make things explode.
That is true.
We will consider how this happened once the immediate danger is past.
Which is funny because they were already trying to blame me for how it happened, so you were already trying to consider it.
The Temple of Sacred Ashes.
What's left of it?
That is where you walked out of the Fade, and our soldiers found you. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was.
Ah! Oh, my fucking knee's on fire! Oh my god! Oddly intact Templar in the pile of skeletons and other burning skeletons. Not sure.
Is a long way up.
You're here. Thank the Maker.
Liliana, have your men take up positions around the temple. This is your chance to end this. Are you ready?
I'm not sure how to even start getting up to that thing.
No. This rift was the first, and it is the key. Seal it, and perhaps we seal the breach.
Then let's find a way down. And be careful.
Now is the hour of our victory. Bring forth the sacrifice.
What are we hearing?
At a guess, the person who created the breach.
Also, can I just take a second to bitch about Solus? Like, I'm like, I don't even know how to get up to that thing. He's like, no, this is the key. And I'm like, I wasn't questioning that, my guy. I was just saying, I don't know how the fuck to get up there. Could you say things that please make a little bit more sense? Or is that too much to ask? Yeah, probably. Anyways, they did a fucking number on the place. Pretty blown up here. Alright, let's get down there. Good man. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. Good job. the floating head of Andraste up here.
You know this stuff is red lyrium, Seeker.
I see it, Varric.
But what's it doing here?
Magic could have drawn on lyrium beneath the temple, corrupted it.
It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
Keep the sacrifice still.
Someone help me! That is Divine Justinia's voice.
So, Red Lyrium showed up first in Dragon Age 2, I believe. I actually don't know that much about it, and I probably should take some time to find out more about it. But Varric is familiar with it because he and his brother, Bertrand, went to, as part of the Dragon Age 2 questline stuff, you join them in a Deep Roads expedition and find this ancient tide in the Deep Roads. The Deep Roads are what used to be the Dwarven Empire before the Darkspawn came. The Darkspawn are from what causes the Blights. This will all get talked about. Anyways, the Tigers were like settlements for the dwarves, like their little cities, and this was an ancient one that nobody had ever seen before, and it had an idol in it that was made of red lyrium, and it drove Bertrand insane, and then it drove the Knight Commander Meredith insane. And then it turned the Knight Commander into a statue of lyrium. Anyway, it is corrupting. It is powerful. It is dangerous. It promises powers. It sings to people, and it's essentially alive. We'll find out more about that in the future as well. But Varric is very, very familiar with, with what it can do to people, and has kind of a understandable caution around it. I also kind of just really listened to what Solus was saying this time, where he was saying that magic could have drawn on lyrium beneath the temple and corrupted it, or whatever it was that he just said. I think I need to find out more, do some looking into the lyrium outside of this to see if that comment has meaning. Because nobody's really seen it before. Like, how does he know that it's corrupt? Maybe he's been talking to Varric. I don't know. Varric talks about it, I guess. That's something I'm going to try to look into for a future episode, at least. And fuck it, I guess we're going to save here, too. Why not?
on here?
That was your voice. Most Holy called out to you, but...
What's going on here?
Run while you can! Warn them!
We have an intruder. Slay the elf.
You were there! Who attacked? And the Divine, is she... Was this vision true? What are we seeing?
I don't remember.
Echoes of what happened here. The Fade bleeds into this place. This rift is not sealed, but it is closed, albeit temporarily. I believe that with the mark, the rift can be opened, and then sealed properly and safely. However, opening the rift will likely attract attention from the other side.
That means demons! Stand ready! Now!
Okay, so I'm gonna fight this. Trying to think if there's anything I should touch on real quick beforehand. So the Fade is not the world of the dead, but it is a realm outside of the tangible realm. It's the spirit realm, essentially. And this is also where mages get all of their powers from, is from the Fade. There are different types of spirits, which Solus will tell us about in the future, but these different types of spirits have kind of different... They embody what we would consider to be the sins, and also they embody what we would consider to be virtues. So we have the demons that are considered to be pride, which is what this one is, desire, sloth, I think there's some other ones, anger or rage rather. The giant one that just popped in here is a demon of pride. They all look the same for their types. There's also spirits that are, again, embodied like the virtues, like compassion and justice. And there's one that we run into in Crestwood that's a spirit of command. And in the Fade is not, it's a reflection of the real world, but it's not. It's based on what the spirits and demons understand the world around them to be. And it's also because it's where people go when they dream. It's the world of the dreams. And so it takes on, kind of similarly to, our dreams, where it takes on the shape of the memories of the person experiencing that area. So like maybe it's a house in a field and it looks a little off because it's based on a memory, and our memories are fallible. So when Solus is saying that the Fade bleeds into this place, so what happened with this explosion is that it ripped a hole in the veil, which separates the Fade from the physical realm. And that's why all of the demons are basically like pouring in. They're like, oh fuck yeah, we can just run in here now, hell yes. And that's what they're doing. Because it's also bleeding into this place, the memories of and experiences of what happened are being shown like that, and they're distorted. Um, but that's why we were seeing the reenactment essentially of whatever that thing was with the glowy red eyes holding up Divine Justinia. Divine Justinia was, of course, the head of the Chantry, uh, which again is a matriarchal type of thing. We'll learn a little bit more about that in the future. Probably not the best time right now, but uh, she, Cassandra and Liliana were her right and left hand. So they were the ones who were the closest to her and supported her. So Cassandra is very upset, and that's why she's angry. But she's also a absolute amazing warrior and is able to put that aside. Good little compartmentalization. Thanks, Cassandra. Okay, I'm going to turn the music back up and go kill this thing. Um, One of the things that my mark allows me to do is disrupt the rifts when they're before they're closed, um, which is kind of what I just did to open it. But in this case, it also, when I do that, it causes damage or some impact to the demons that came from that rift. So, something to keep in mind as we go through this fight. If you have questions about or want to make comments about what is happening, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will respond to them after I'm done killing this thing.
We must strip its defenses. Wear it down. The demon is vulnerable. Now!
I didn't know you were awake, I swear.
So that was fun. Everybody enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. That went actually better than it normally does. So here we see some distinct differences between the Dalish elves, me, and the non-Dalish elves. The majority of non-Dalish elves are either slaves or servants. In this situation, they're servants because we're not into Winter, and that's pretty much the officially the only place that has slaves. Um, but uh, they are so used to being downtrodden and beaten and servile that they are um she's immediately like freaked out, like, oh god, no, I did something wrong, how dare I smile, and I'm like, uh we're both elves, calm down. So keep that in mind, the idea and differences of uh servant elf and non-servant elf and how she responds to my responses.
Why are you frightened? What happened?
That's wrong, isn't it? I said the wrong thing.
I don't think so.
I beg your forgiveness and your blessing. I am but a humble servant. You are back in Haven, my lady. They say you saved us. The breach stopped growing, just like the mark on your hand. It's all anyone has talked about for the last 3 days.
So you're saying they're happy with me?
I'm only saying what I heard. I didn't mean anything by it. I'm certain Lady Cassandra would want to know you've wakened. She said, at once.
And where is she?
In the Chantry, with the Lord Chancellor. At once, she said.
And magically I have clothes on again. So the special shipment box over here is a bunch of stuff that I have because I have all of the DLCs and expansion stuff, um, and that's why I have this. So we're about to see a whole bunch of stuff come up over here, the codexes, and just talking about what I got and why I have it. And it looks like I leveled up again. So this is Kunari armor, or the Kunari version of cloth armor, for mage. It's yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It's Shibari. But it's pretty. And I could guess it's protective, but maybe we could say it's macrame. It's not, is it? And of course, you know, we're in the mountains. So this is obviously the best thing for me to wear out in the mountains, in the snow, in the winter. Like this can't possibly be bad for me. The best part about this armor actually isn't that it's lady armor. It looks like this on the men too. It's just as revealing. It's just as pretty knotwork. It looks just like this. It I love it.
That's her. That's the Herald of Andraste. They said when she came out of the Fade, Andraste herself was watching over her.
Hush. We shouldn't disturb her. That's her. She stopped the breach from getting any bigger.
I heard she was supposed to close it entirely. Still, it's more than anyone else has done. Demons would have had us otherwise.
Chancellor Roderick says that the Chantry wants nothing to do with us.
That isn't Chancellor Roderick's decision, sister.
And here
Most
we
of the
are.
Grand Clerics died at the conclave. Who will lead us now?
Andraste didn't have Grand Clerics telling her what to do, and she managed nonetheless.
You expect us to be like Andraste?
Someone must.
Which totally cracks me
watch
up
over you.
because it's definitely like the same kind of concept of like Christianity. They're like, oh, you expect us to be like Jesus? Andraste was their Jesus figure essentially. Um, she she spoke with the voice of the Maker. She was the bride of the Maker. She led the faithful and you know, embodied all of the glorious things and said all the nice things that happens to go into the chant of light. In here, we are in Haven's Chantry, and I just, again, I love the light in this. It's just amazing. Um, so these are, I don't remember, we can talk about these in a little bit, but these are Mabari. They are warhounds essentially for Ferelden, and they there's a long story about them, but basically like they're everywhere in Ferelden, which is where we're at right now, and they are considered to be just like part and parcel of their history. So the Sunburst is the Sunburst throne.
Completely mad. She should be taken to Val Royo immediately, to be tried by whomever becomes divine.
I do not believe she is guilty.
The elf failed, Seeker. The breach is still in the sky. For all you know, she intended it this way.
I do not believe that.
That is not for you to decide. Your duty is to serve the Chantry.
My duty is to serve the principles on which the Chantry was founded, Chancellor, as is yours.
Key differences there. So these two statues are So this is Andraste, I believe. This is Mafroth, who was her husband, weeping over, I believe, might be Hisarion. Can't remember actually which one this is. Um, but basically, Mafroth betrayed Andraste out of jealousy to Tevinter, and set up an ambush, and she was captured. And then Tevinter burned her alive on the pyre. And the snake is representative of Tevinter. It's an emblem that's common throughout a lot of a motif that you see a lot related to Tevinter. And the sword, that's why I'm wondering if this is Hisarion. So the way that the chant says it went is that Andraste did not cry out or scream or anything while she was being burned alive. She just calmly and sadly looked at all of them like, y'all done fucked up now. And um, the Tevinter Magister was so moved and felt so bad that he finally just stabbed her in the chest and put her out of his misery, really, because um, sorry, I just saw your question, Kay. I can, maybe, I'm not sure. I can turn the game audio down, but I can try tweaking my mic a little bit. Maybe that'll help some. It's funny too, because like sometimes the audio is really loud and sometimes it's not, or the music. But oh, anyways, so that's why I'm like, oh, maybe this is Sarian because he stabbed her. This is the dude whose name I don't remember, who carried Andraste's ashes out of Tevinter and brought them to the Temple of Sacred Ashes that just got blown up. Yeah, I'm trying to not talk when they're doing dialogue so we can hear the dialogue and not me. And that we're also not competing over each other. Um, so that's why I might start talking and then like I'll drop off because I want the dialogue that they're saying to come through more. Oh, I've been going over an hour at this point, so I am going to stop here and save, and take a break for a little bit because I have been, as I mentioned before, I want to try to maintain these as about 1 hour long episodes. So I'm going to stop the recording here and take a short break, and I will pop back in so we can. Actually, I think I will probably not come back on stream for Dragon Age, but I might come back on for Odyssey instead, because I don't know that I have another full hour of lore and energy in me for another episode tonight. So this is where episode 2 will end. These are being cross-posted to YouTube under the same channel name of Callisto Rage. You can find me there and go like and subscribe my stuff. Anything that I try to intentionally talk about, I will also put in the comments. Like in episode 1, we talked about the books, and so I included information, the book titles and authors in the comments for episode 1. If you have comments or questions or would like me to further explain something, please feel free to send me a comment, whisper, whatever they're called on Twitch, or you can comment on the video itself, or you can just message me if you have personal access to me, like some people in this chat do apparently. So, yeah. And I will probably do a episode in the future where it's just talking about covering things that around questions that have come up. Anyway, thank you all for joining me tonight, especially UK. And I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks for joining me.